I'm in my '05 Focus. I'm going to show you guys how to change the oil today. First step we're going to do, put the e-brake on. That's good there. And then we're going to lift up the front of the car. Don't forget to pop your hood right there. Yeah. Alright guys, we're going to throw the jack on the driver's side, lift it up, and then we're going to crawl underneath. We have our bucket in place, we have our wrench, it's a half inch wrench on there, and we're going to take the oil thing off. I'm going to set it right there, and that way it doesn't have any suction when we're underneath there. And we're going to pull that bolt off. Alright. So now that you've got it loose somewhat, I don't even know if you can see that. Now that you've got it loose, put your pan right there ready to catch the oil that drips, and unscrew this, and it's going to squirt out like that way, so you kind of want to angle it so it'll catch it, and you probably won't get it all in there unless you have a big old pan, but alright, it's dripping, and we're going to pull the plug and hopefully it catches it. Yeah. So this is going to drain about 4 quarts, and then we're going to see it drain in there, and then we're going to pull off the oil filter and drain that. That'll have about a half a quart in it, maybe less, but we'll wait for that to drain. See, this is starting to finish draining, so move this a little bit farther closer to it so it's draining right in the middle, because once it's done it'll start like doing what it's doing here where it's arcing, and it's kind of a pain, but that's alright, we got it. While that's draining, you can grab your bolt and just clean it. I mean, it doesn't need to be brand new shiny, but just get a rag and wipe all the oil off, and then, you know, any dirt on the outside, just wipe it off. There we go. Good as new. And your oil filler cap will have a little bit of oil on it, just any of it that comes off, we're going to wipe that off. And we're doing this while the oil is draining from the car, just so we let as much dirty oil drain as much as we can. So just wipe that off, wipe off where it was, make sure you get the top of it. I don't know, I'm picky, I like my engine clean, so, and then just go ahead and set it back where it was. And if you want, you can actually just wipe around the edge here as well. Cool. Just a couple drips. Looks like we can put that back on. What I like to do before I tighten it all the way down, just wipe it off, mix it clean for the next time. Grab your 1/2 inch, tighten it. Right, so this is the oil filter. We're gonna bring the oil catcher right over here. This is where your hands probably will get messy. Should just be able to undo this by hand. If not, they do make tools for it. And to stay as clean as possible, don't grab it like this. You can like kind of unscrew it from the top of the sides here. And also don't let it fall into your oil thing there. See the oil coming out of there? So we're gonna let that drain a little bit. And there's gonna be a lot in there, so your hands will get dirty. Just let that drain as long as you can. You might be able to see right over here, it's starting to just drip down. Wipe that off if you can. Alright, we have everything ready to go, set up. I got the Motocraft oil filter ready to go. So let's put the oil filter on first. Alright, so when you open the oil filter, you'll have this. Just a round thing. See where it's supposed to go there? We're gonna grab the rag and just wipe the excess oil off there. Just so it's nice and clean for next time. Okay, nice and clean. Now if you're wearing gloves, you just want to take your glove off. And you want to grab some of the oil that's on your oil filter and just rub it around the ring of the new filter. That way it gets a good seal. Get a little more if we can. There we go. So just rub oil around the outside of the O-ring on your oil filter. Go ahead and wipe your hand off. And it screws on just like a, just like a bolt. And just screw it on there. And you don't want to tighten this too much because it'll break off. You don't want that. So just tighten it, hand tight. Just like that. I don't know how many pounds of force you need to put on that, but that's what I do. It's just, hand tight. That's what I've been told to do, so mechanics, I think they know what they're talking about. So we got the new oil filter on, we got the plug on. Now we can pull this out of the way. Just be careful pulling this out, since it is full of oil. 4.5 quarts to be exact. Okay. Alright, we have everything done under there. Now we just need to add oil to the engine here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put in 4.5 quarts, and that's what the engine takes. It doesn't take 5, it doesn't take 4, it takes 4.5, which is annoying because then you have a half quart just sitting around. But what we're going to do is we're going to lower the car down, and we're going to add the oil, and then we'll start it up and see how it runs. So, move my tools out of the way. Lower the car down. my steel plate out of it. Alright. Let's add some oil. Most people use a funnel. I don't think that's really necessary. Just because I can pour. But just take the lid off and then we'll carefully add the oil. So this is going to be quart 1. Now we're going to let that sit for a minute. We'll grab quart 2. Quart 3. Quart 4. And as we put this quart in, we can put about half of it in, or maybe a quarter, and just see where it's at. So we'll just do this for like a minute, and then we'll check it again. It is level. I have the jack up there, so we'll check it again and just make sure that it has the correct amount. And you don't want to check it while it's running because it is circulating and it'll just be all over your stick. Alright, it's been running for a minute. We're going to shut it off and check it again. I had to label my keys because I have so many. Wipe it off. That way we get all the excess oil off the stick. Stick it back in. Let it settle for a second. And then pull it back out and check it. And that is exactly where you want it. It's supposed to be right in between the 2 dots, but I think it'll be okay. Right there. Anyway, so that's where we want it, and that's where it is. We have just successfully changed the oil on 2005 Ford Focus.